I'd like to talk about the book I just finished today, The Gate by Soseki Natsume, The Monk in Japanese. Since this is the last one of the trilogy, Sanshiro and Sorekara, I was, I enjoyed both of them tremendously, and my hope was high to start to read this. And this one start with this couple, already married but no kids, and struggling to, I would say, like struggling to come up with the their own happiness or success or something like that. It's something like a holding back, even though the man Soseki was a very intelligent person and working very hard and loves his wife Uyone and tried to have a peaceful, happy life, and but he lacks something. He lacks something like a strong drive to do whatever he wants to do. He always like a resigned position probably, and but he had like a one snippet to the other, very interesting, because like a very tense moment here and there when they are having the life and all those stuff, and it's hard life, and but regardless of hard life, they have some kind of a peace and comfort and happiness along the line. And but overall, I think the reader, I think, was kind of maybe intrigued to this Sosuke's like a shadowy past or something. And it turns out that I didn't know for a long time when I was reading this. Oyone was somebody else's girlfriend or wife or whatever, and but Sosuke took her and got married, and because of that, they have to go not to this particular route to the success, but it's more or less like hiding somewhere here and there away from Tokyo or whatever, and so that's the life that he's living. And so for me, it's when I was reading, it's kind of intrigued to see why and how he has to behave like that and so forth. And along the way, there's lots of different type of persons, and each person has a very, very tense moment with them, and so as a reader, for me, I hope that's going to be developing like a main story or developing the kind of interesting consequences or whatever, but there's nothing there at the end. It's always like this tension builds, but that's it, and it ends there. There's lots of those side lines there, and I felt kind of interesting, and hopefully something great happened toward the end. Sorekara, for example, the second of the trilogy, it turns out to be like a great story overturned at probably 3/4 of the novel. And for this, I was hoping also the 3/4 of the novel, I like to see that type of a tremendous climax. And I was seeing that. I was seeing because there's this chance that Soseki will meet this former husband, or former boyfriend of his wife in a chance meeting with some, but that never happened at the end. And but meantime, he goes to the Zen monastery to do a meditation there. And this particular part is kind of a long, but he visit this particular monastery and sit and trying to get the enlightenment of Zen, and try, but he wasn't successful. And so that's also kind of a dwindle down. All those things that Oyone got sick, for example, and she might die, that kind of a tremendous tension there, but she recovered and it's okay. And Sosuke has this brother who is by different mother. Sosuke's father had this out of wedlock son, and so Sosuke has to take care of him, and this kids, still kids, kind of not behaving well or whatever, and but also they are like in a blood relation, therefore he feels like he has to take care of him and so forth. So I thought that story goes somewhere more interesting, but it didn't go. And there's this landlord, Saeki, has a tremendously successful life. They have 3 or 4 kids, and always the house he looked up to the landlord house is like up the hill, and always he can hear the piano playing and people laughing and so forth. And he became a friend with this Saeki, and he loved that, and he visits there once in a while, and but that also didn't go much anywhere. And so it's like wow, what is this? It's something I didn't expect this book to end like this. But I think it's supposed to be. This is one of I think the last fiction that he wrote, and his favorites. So I don't know about that. I think it's kind of difficult to read in one sense, because you hope that particular story goes to somewhere, but it doesn't, and nothing happens, and everything kind of dwindle down, and but there's a strong sense of this intellectual person's life who tried so hard to be living, I think, because he had so much hardship in his life, and he kind of felt guilty, and so to recover from kind of a very subdued life, I hope that he became a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more enjoy his own life and so forth. But that's when Sosuke goes to this Zen monastery for 10 days or 2 weeks or something, and experience this Zen thing. So that's very nice. Today's standard Zen is highly regarded. And so I hope that he's gained something, but it ended up with nothing. He wasn't successful to gain anything from that experience. And but that's think about it. It's like one person's struggle to live in this life, and although he has a tremendous this ambitions and the force to go forward, but something holding him back. Something holding him back. Because of that, he couldn't go beyond. And but in that holding back, I would say mediocre life, he thrived there, and he is, probably at the end he's satisfied with his conditions or his status, because nothing major unhappiness happened, even though Oyone, his wife, lost like three child. So the couple didn't have any child or anything, so they are resented, and that particular resentment is something that it doesn't come up often enough, but you feel that they really want to have that happiness with kids and everything, but that never happened. So life is like that. And looking at other couple like Soseki's landlord house, which he has 3 or 4 kids, and it's always laughter is always there, and they think the kids as if you have a kid, even though life is hard, there's a lot of happiness there and so forth, but they don't have a kid. But Sosuke and Oyone loved each other very much, and trust each other, and so it's that their married life is very much healthy, and that's the end. So I'm not sure that how much I recommend. I really like the Sorekara, and then the second of the trilogy. I really like that particular novel. I 100% recommend that one. Sanshiro I recommend because it's like a very fresh, vigorous, young person's idea, and then this one is like a somebody who has this background of some kind of a shady background. Because of that, he couldn't do whatever he wanted to do wholeheartedly, but as long as he could do, he could achieve something. But as a fiction, I thought this is somewhat, for me it's a little bit disappointing, because there's no main storyline. I thought the main storyline is about the Oyone, which is the wife, her former husband or boyfriend coming back, and there's this tension that builds up toward the end of the book, that they meet again. And so Sosuke worried what's going to happen, and Sosuke worried because of that he has to go away somewhere. He has to hide again or something like that. And so this particular tension builds up, but that never happened. And so he ended up with staying there, and ended up with like a happy as a mediocre life style, but their love is very, very strong, and so life goes on. And so this is pretty much it. I don't know, this is like spoilers are included here, everything, but yeah, I think the story, the reading books, it's interesting to read. I think it's not boring. It's like it's sometimes tedious, but each story plot going somewhere and very tense. So you want to read more and more again and toward the end. And so at the end you end up with nothing, but probably that's where this Soseki intended. Maybe life is like that. You have a tremendous tribulations, and you kind of face worries and face a lot of difficulty, but at the end the life is okay. And so yeah, that's my few cents. Just read today, so my thoughts may change later. And so this is my review of the Soseki Natsume's The Gate, the Mon. Okay, so next one, I already started read this particular Japanese short stories. This is edited by J. Rubin. J. Rubin used to be, or this is the Murakami's, Haruki Murakami's translator, and I love him. And in this particular book, I think Haruki Murakami was writing this introduction section, and that's interesting to read because he, he's a contemporary of me. I think he was born 1949. I'm 48, and so he didn't like the Japanese fiction at all when he was growing up, and he didn't have any interest in reading those fiction, which is called I fiction, which is shishosetsu, which is about the writers trying to write about themselves. I did this and I did. And so he didn't have any interest in the Japanese fictions and so forth. So he writes about, very nice writing of Haruki Murakami's introduction. And so I enjoy that. And I started to read Tanizaki Junichiro, the story of Tomura and Matsunaga. I haven't finished yet that one, but that's very, very enjoyable. So I hope I'm going to read this now, away from Soseki for a while, and then I go back to his first fiction, I Am a Cat, and then I will finish Soseki's reading at that point. But meantime, I will read this and see how it goes about Japanese fiction. Okay, bye.